as I prep my teriyaki steak meal, which is killer, that I perfected just a few days ago, I'm gonna show y'all how to pull a perfect shot of espresso while we're just kind of messing about. First, get yourself a good espresso machine, because the first and hardest part of pulling an espresso shot is having 15 to 20 bar of pressure in your espresso portafilter. So, obviously, that's a joke. This is wood from where I took this mountain here, and now I'm not even using it, so you know, whatever. But, it's pretty easy, really. You got your two sizes of portafilter with some espresso machines. You got your double, and you got your single, right here. Your double is obviously twice as deep, twice as big. The two most important parts of an espresso shot, well, there's more like 5, but once you have an espresso machine, and once you have decent espresso coffee, and once you know kind of how long to pull it for, there's two fundamental, well, I say how long to pull it for. Okay, so let me just back up just a slight bit. One of the most important things you can do to pull a good espresso shot is to pull some espresso shots. The hardest part, and the only part that's like an art, in my opinion, is the milk part. Some people don't even use, you know, latte, but here's the most important part, and that is the tamping. You want to tamp your espresso shot, and if it sounds like I'm being a little coffee snob, I'm really not. This is actually something that I learned actually does matter. You want to push that thing down and get it nice, hard, and flat. So that, see this little basket, what happens is when you put this thing in there and turn it on hard, like screw it on there hard the way it's supposed to be, it creates 15 to 20 bar of pressure inside this little cup because the holes are so tiny. And then what it does is, since obviously there's a lot of pressure but it's really hot, and this coffee is really finely ground because it's espresso ground coffee, the pressure along with the temperature means that you can pull it through the grounds really fast and efficiently, which means you get basically like, you know, 2 or 3 cups of coffee per amount of grounds than you would if you were using a regular machine. So look, I don't know what I'm thinking. Put it on there. So I use my tamper. I always get a tamper that's a little bit smaller than the portafilter basket I'm using, because some people will say you need to get one that's exactly the right size and then just push down, but that leaves you no room to, as you can see, it leaves you no room to move it around and really get it perfect. So it should look like that. It's flat and it's level. And it's not like, it might look, because of the shadows, it might look like it's more on one side than the other. And I mean, it probably is by like a 1/2 millimeter or something. But it's pretty important that you get one of these tamping mats, because it's got this little cutout right here to where you can push your spout right up on there. And then when you push down to tamp, obviously you're using the counter and you won't damage your, you know, you won't damage your little spout on the bottom. This is a double spout, so it's like, you know, it's plastic. Like in a coffee shop or on a really nice machine, this would be like one spout that comes down with a little metal thing to where it runs over both sides. So if you want to fill 2 cups at the same time, you can. And by the way, that's the point of those. And I can fill 2 cups. I mean, obviously, as you can see, I can fill 2 cups at the same time with this too. But now I've heard 2 different things when it comes to timing. I've heard 13 seconds, 22 seconds, and then depends on the cream. So I guess that's 3 things. I like to use these little wooden handle, you gotta have a spout. You want a spout. It's really important you have a spout. You won't think that it is. You'll be like, oh, I could just put it in any cup. No, you at least want to have, like this one right here, you at least want to have, you know, a little bit of a spout. But really, this one right here is perfect. It's got 2 like major spouts. You can obviously tell there's no guesswork. And then the wooden handle, which this one also used to have until it broke off. Wooden handle is really good because it really is pretty hot. And you gotta like carry it all the way to your cup of coffee, and then you gotta pour it, you know, sometimes kind of gingerly and whatnot. One of the most important things you can do is to have, I'm not sure where I'm being seen right now. One of the most important things you can do is to have a timer right above your machine. Sorry, Tucker. By the way, for anybody I didn't introduce, this is Tucker. This is Tucker. And this, Tucker, look at, and this is Tucker. That's what we're gonna call it, Cooking with Tucker, which I think is just adorable. So the way I usually do it on my machine, when this green light goes off, it's usually been about the right amount of time. And on my machine, if I do it to where it's about to fill up, no matter when the light goes off and no matter how long it's been, like about right here is where I kill it, because there's still a little water left in there, and it's still gonna fill up a little bit. But you can obviously see this, it's called crema, and really that's just, you know, Italian for cream. But you can see, like, tilt it the right way, you can see this is like cream here, you know, it's like bubbles, foam, whatever. This is coffee from here down, and right now you can see this layer right here, that like, of course now I can't think, that gradient kind of, that's where the bubbles are going up. And now you can see there is no gradient, there is no middle zone, it's just bubbles and coffee. So that part is pretty much straightforward. And this spout is 2.5 ounces, so I know when it pretty much is about to overflow, that's just about perfect. You know, might be a little too much, not quite enough. It's usually right at about 12-13 seconds. And it's usually right when the coffee is about to run, like when the water coming through is about to run clear. I mean, it's just because I've used this machine a lot, and this is a DeLonghi Stolosa, which I don't even know if that's how you say it. It might be Delani, it might be Delani, it's probably Delani. Actually, now that I think about it, Delani Stolosa, yeah, that's probably what it is. I've never said it out loud, so don't care. Now, here, my trick. This is my little secret trick, and of course, it's not really a secret trick, and it's probably just, you know, like the stupid person, ignorant way of doing it, but I put my sugar in the metal pitcher, which I keep in the freezer, before I steam it. And when you steam the milk, now I put actually way too much milk in here, but you can see it's up to about halfway. I usually put it up to about right here, and then steam the whole pitcher. Oh damn, okay, wasn't expecting that. I'm doing espresso first, so don't be surprised. This is actually, really? Huh. This is actually more milk than I usually use, but the sugar trick is kind of not really a trick. It's probably the ignorant way, but nonetheless, it works. Here's what you're gonna do. You can hear it, obviously. And if you just put it down in the milk, it's just gonna make the milk really hot. If you put it too high in the milk, it's gonna make big bubbles and your steam's all gonna escape. So you want it right at the sweet spot in the middle. And at first there is no sweet spot, because there's no bubbles yet. So it's kind of like, you know, a middle ground. The easy rule of thumb is like put it at the bottom and then bring it up slowly. And when it starts to make this sound, right there, that's the sound of the bubbles, obviously. The steam is hitting the bubbles and pushing it all down into the milk. But the steam isn't actually escaping. And so when you put too much milk in a pitcher, all you gotta do is steam it more than once. That's what I usually do, so I can put more milk in there, because I like a really rich, a really milk-rich drink. So, you can see, I just poured some of the foam off, open it back up. You pretty much always want to use your steam valve on all the way, just because, you know, why do any less than all the way, basically. A perfectly steamed pitcher of milk would have just enough so that right when it reaches the top, the whole pitcher has just started to get to the point where it would be almost too hot to drink, if that makes any sense. So you have to put the perfect amount of milk in, and you have to steam it for just the right amount of time, to where it gets to here, you have none of these big bubbles. Basically, I didn't do this one perfectly. I'm thinking about pouring another. Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna pour another cup. And the other, not the other, one of the other things you want to do is always want to use whole milk. Because with the higher fat, and obviously some people are like, oh, you always want to use whole milk with the higher fat? No. I don't even always use whole milk. But if you want a perfectly steamed pitcher of milk, use whole milk. Obviously, it's got a higher density and it's gonna bubble and foam up faster. So it's not always a good thing, but it is a more true, real espresso thing, or latte, or whatever. I don't even know. So this time I put a milk to about right here, and the pitcher wasn't cold. You want to get down, Tucker? Mommy just came back. Mommy surprised me coming back all early. I thought I had like an hour. Yeah, so this milk is already too hot. So anyway, if the pitcher had been cold, you'd be able to see it would steam to probably about right here, because I really didn't put enough in there. And once it, Tucker, will you calm down, puppy? I'm calling this cooking with Tucker, so it's kind of hard to, you know, take him out. But I mean, I can. Call it coffee with Tucker, I guess.
I needed to.
And then just switch over to teriyaki. So as you can see, this is getting to just about perfect. It's going to get right to the top, right when it starts to get too hot. And it's going to start being large bubbles like that. You can hear it. It starts big bubbling. I don't know what you call that, but that's just about perfect for the amount of milk I put in. And in the right size coffee cup, that will be just about a perfect what? Latte?
Cappuccino
Latte.
has more. Oh, for me?
I'm asking you.
Yes.
Latte is what it's called?
Oh, it depends on how much foam there is. You make them sort of.
I make as much foam as I can possibly make.
Yeah.
as you know.
Technically, cappuccino is almost entire foam,
What's
but
a latte? Is that just
latte
milk?
is basically this much foam on the top. It's heated.
So the foam is the actual must Okay.
At least that is what I learned at the coffee shop.
Well, I'm sure that's right. And that's why I asked you.
By the way.
What?
$44 plus 30 minus 2 is exactly 72.
Sure would be exactly 72.
I'm gonna let you do by the time I get back there. It will be. Is this for me?
If you want it, yeah. There's no sugar in it.
Delicio. I don't speak Italian.
Well, I know Prego is.
Yes, there you go.
Thank you.
Oh, that's right.
I forgot about my phone. With my phone, I actually have enough to do 3 angles.
If I would have told you they jump like that, you wouldn't have believed me. Well, these stop motion, real life cooking are freaking awesome. I wish so much Jackson could see them.
He can.
I mean,
It's not dead, I think.
I wish I could just play it in front of it. You know.
Yeah, I didn't know what you meant.
This is actually perfectly temperatured, but.
Oh, while you're out, if you want to get another gallon of. Tucker was trying to lick that steak.
Chocolate?
You might be able to tell I am doing. This is what I was talking about with this, by the way. Isn't it? You're gonna have something that shoots straight down.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen enough cooking videos to know without that.
And also
pretty much
and
just
crafting too.
Stupid. Well, you can't see what I'm doing here, but just take my word for it. Yeah. That's what I'm
You should watch some of the videos that I put on your account yesterday.
Okay,
It's
goddamn too.
stop motion with Legos, real cooking Legos. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just trust me. It's like the dogs videos.